I'm sure as a lot of people are out there, they're like, Ted, like, why Smile Fusion? Like, what made you want to, be a part of this organization? So let's start there, and then I'll get into some of the questions.
Yeah, absolutely. First of all, they're being pretty generous. No, but I appreciate that. What's been unique about my journey is I entered into dental about roughly 10 years ago. I started with Dentsply Sirona, which took me straight to the CEREC division. So I was a part of the consumables team there, servicing dental practices, doctors, dental assistants, training, coaching, consulting in ways, selling. But I fell in love right away. And for me, that's where the journey in dental started. Yeah. To the point where I would nerd out at home. You're sitting in bed late at night and you're like watching YouTube videos and you're like, how do you design that anterior crown? How can I teach people how to do that? Right.
Yeah.
And I had some really great mentors along the way. So someone that comes to mind is Brent. He's no longer with Dentsply Sirona, but just a true guru in the space. So he got me to where I felt I could elevate from there as far as digital technology, but that was the start. Spent 5.5 years at Dentsply Sirona in some various roles.
Yeah.
But it started in Kansas City. That's where the journey began, and I was covering Nebraska, Iowa, Missouri, and Kansas. So a lot of territory, a lot of ground, a lot of CEREC users. Believe it or not, I actually saw some red cams back in the day. So those things are pretty historic. So with that journey, though, it took me back to Louisville, Kentucky, where I'm from. And I had an opportunity to be a clinical development manager. So I covered all things at Dentsply Sirona. The big piece into the doctor office was technology for me, because that's where I was most comfortable.
Yeah.
So my job there was to bring in all the other elements of Dentsply Sirona and get them in front of customers, our reps, our specialty reps. So my job responsibility was to be a mile wide of knowledge with an inch deep of information, and then I'd pull in the experts. So, but it never failed, though, where I always felt comfortable was technology.
Yeah.
So from there, COVID, things happened, right? There was a shift in the organization, and that pulled me out to Greenville, South Carolina. So I was a part of the CEREC or Prime scanning team and restorative team there. Was there for about 11 months. Got pulled away back to Louisville, Kentucky, in a good way, because it got me back home and back to my girlfriend at the time, now my wife. She appreciated that. So that took me to Align Technologies, so where I was a part of the Invisalign and iTero team. Again, still where my passion lie with the iTero. I think that's a great system. I love what it does for patient education chair side. Again, something very passionate about. But also got to expand my knowledge into the ortho space to better understand the dynamics of dentistry outside of Dentsply Sirona. So that was a valuable experience as well. From there, I jumped over to Straumann Technology, where I was a digital solution specialist. I covered everything from upstate New York all the way down to the panhandle of Florida. So, 1 week I'm dealing with mounds of snow, and later that week I could be cruising the coastline.
Yes. Love it.
But as dreamy as that sounds, my heart, my passion was taking me elsewhere. So during that time in Straumann Technology, I was part of the Neodent team, actually. That's when I ran into my partner now, Scott Armstrong. So he had a group of practices down in Tennessee. There was about 10 practices is what we started with. And it began in the summer of 2024. I'll never forget it. It was like yesterday. He called me, and I was about to go into a place of, I was about to go into a place in Kentucky where there's very little service. Imagine that. But he called. I pulled off into the parking lot. I was about to start my weekend. And at the time, I was talking to some folks about potentially getting into the business of running and operating practices. I was searching, I guess is what I'm saying.
Right.
I knew I wanted something on my own, something I could take on my own and venture off of the corporate path. I'll never forget it, like yesterday. Hey, Scott, man, it's incredible what you've done down there. I really respect you. He's become a mentor at that point. Think about buying a practice. He didn't even respond. Actually, he did respond, but he didn't answer the question. He goes, do you want to own a fully digital dental lab? And I go, yes. That makes complete sense. That's my path, right?
Yeah.
So That was where it all started for me on my end. For Scott, though, it was finding digital solutions for his practices. How can he cut overhead? How can he improve turnaround times? How can he improve quality? Can I bring any of this in-house? We were discussing 3D printing, milling as an option at the time. But he quickly realized that I can't staff that. It's really difficult. I saw it during my time at Dentsply Sirona. You know, the CEREC offices that had the dental assistants that can basically do all that, and sometimes the doctors would too.
Right.
But you needed a helping hand in those scenarios. If that dental assistant ever left you, all that training, maybe you sent them out to in Arizona, or maybe you flew a consultant in to get some additional training for your team. If they leave you, you're high and dry.
Yeah.
Scott is a smart guy.
Yep.
He saw that pretty quick.
Yeah.
So immediately it led to our conversations in 2024. Let's build this thing out. There were 3 things that were obvious to us during that time and during those conversations: quality, speed, and cost. If we can impact those 3 pillars, then we're going to win in the space.
Yeah.
Consistently. So for us at a high level, we were like, okay, how do we impact quality? Well, digital gets us there immediately. There's no question about that. The technology in scanners today compared to impression material, it's not a question.
Right.
So that was one answer. The second one was, but what's really irritating, Scott would say, is when we would send in an impression material, a box, down to a lab, things would happen. He was working with a lab out of Florida. During the summer months, that could change based on the heat in the trucks. Could impact, or could have impact. When it arrives to the lab, though, the package. So, you know, they have a QC team, an intake team, and then it makes its way to the designers. The designers then would look it over, pour it up, make their scans, and maybe this is 24 to 48 hours after the package is already shipped, which took 2 to 3 days too. So we're looking at 5 days now that we're past since the patient was in the chair. Ring, 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 ring. John, hey, I got a problem with this impression. It's got pulls, it's got rips, it's got tears, it's got bubbles, whatever it is. Something's off. Now you're going to tell me, either the assistant and or the doctor, no, Ted, I looked it over, it's fine.
Right.
Everything's fine, just push it through. Now me as the lab, I'm going to tell you, I can do that, but it's going to void your warranty. I know, but the patient's leaving the country, and hear that one often. Patient's leaving the country, and we need to move forward. Okay. So we go through our normal lab workflow, and let's say 2, maybe 2.5 weeks later, up to 3. Patient's back in the office, they're in the chair, they go to deliver the crown, and lo and behold, there's an issue. Now the problem, we got to repeat that process all over again. We're in now, what, a month and a half time wrapped up in that process. It's a problem. So a lot of his practices were using removable workflows.
Got it.
So,
yeah.
you know, dentures, partials. So accuracy of that first initial impression is very important.
Yeah.
So a lot of remakes, a lot of issues, long turnaround times, unhappy patients, and quite frankly, costing chair time.
Yeah.
Right? So they're missing out on revenue opportunities. So I'll give it to Scott. This was 100% his idea, but we were just snowballing ideas out there during our planning sessions, and he goes, what if we do a skin validation up front? Boom, light bulb.
Yeah.
That makes complete sense. What we found diving into our analytics on remakes, it usually was minute problems, something that could be easily addressed chairside. So simple, meaning the bite wasn't taken correctly. Maybe it was missing some data points in the interproximal contacts of the crown, for example. Maybe some of the margins were missing. We didn't do a good job of capturing that information. We have people that sit chairside at our lab that check that. That's their job.
Yeah.
And they respond to doctors in real time. So boom, quality addressed. The next thing for us was time. How can we get consistent time turnaround? Well, again, digital addresses that already.
Right.
It's faster. It's instant. As soon as you send a scan, we have access to it immediately, within a minute or two. So in combination with a real-time feedback, We immediately tell you, yes, scan approved and verified, or hey, fix this issue. You get a chance to do that while the patient's chairside, and then boom, we're off to the races with the design and production. So we're going to get everything in and out of our lab and back to your office within 10 days or less. So the national average for us was 21 days. So at 10 days or less, we're above the mark.
Yeah.
If we can do that on a consistent basis, which I know we can because of the digital workflows, we're doing our job.
Yeah.
So boom, time. So cost, for us, it was a unique opportunity to drive relationships on my end.
Yeah.
That's where I got to really tap into the consumable guys that I met along the way, touch base with some of the 4Arch guys that I've met maybe at Straumann or Neodan. Hey, what products are you using? Who are you getting this from? Is it American-based products? Will we have readily available access to that immediately? So as we plug and played, for us, it was real simple. It was like, okay, let's put a forecast together. This is where we want to be in 2 years. That's what we're going to order per month. So at all times, whether it's the resins we use, whether it's the zirconia and or the Emax that we use at the lab, we're always going to have at least, at minimum, 2 years worth of inventory. So the price points that we put out there, they're always going to stay true.
Right.
You don't have to worry about tariffs
Right.
or something getting hung up in customs because we have it at the lab. So for us, that was a major selling point. Using the network that I gathered along the way through my journey through dental, and we were able to secure price points and negotiate price points with a set price of this is what we're forecasting, this is what we're going to need for the next 2 years. So we did a really great job up front negotiating, which impacted our price points. And we get a pass directly to the customers.